Yeah, what's that word? 3012 in the podcast. Yeah, back again with episode 54. Man, we got nothing but the heat, but back with the guys again. What's up, Brodrick? What's up, Khalil? How y'all boys doing tonight?
Chilling,
Good,
chilling.
going good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, let's jump right into it, man. We got good topics tonight. First off, let's jump into the NBA conference finals. We got Indiana versus the Boston Celtics. What are your thoughts on that, Khalil? Let's go to you first, man. Indy beating the NYC tonight in a tough game 7 in the Garden. How you feel, man?
Uh, Hats off to the Pacers. Not gonna make excuses for the Knicks. Uh, just without Jalen Brunson, there's not much we could do. But conference finals matchup, the Eastern Conference Finals matchup, I have the Celtics probably winning out in 5, 6 games. Um, on the Eastern Conference side, this might be the easiest path to the NBA championship that the Celtics could have gotten. Don't really see this being too competitive. Celtics are better in every aspect, whether it be defensively, offensively. They have too many weapons for the Pacers to keep up with. Defensively, they're always locked in. And I don't know the status of Kristaps Porzingis or anything, but if he's coming back, I can see the Celtics going for a sweep.
Tough, tough. That boy calling for a sweep. How about yourself, Broderick, man? How you see this conference finals going up on the East Conference side?
I see it as a sweep without Porzingis. I can
Mm,
see Indiana maybe getting one game, but it's hard for me to see that because they're not very good defensively, and the Celtics are elite on both sides of the ball, and they can play any style you want to play. Indiana's going to get up and down the floor when you have explosive athletes, especially on the wing like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, running on, and Drew Holiday directing
yeah.
traffic. Derek White has been playing great in the postseason. In me, it's hard to envision anybody beating the Celtics for real. And like Khalil said, they got the easiest path. It's very reminiscent of when LeBron was playing in the East. And I think the Celtics are overall more talented than those Cavs teams. So, um, I mean, I don't know how Indiana plays good at home. They win their games at home. So we're gonna have to see. And the Celtics have dropped some inexplicable games, but it seems like every time they lose a game, the other team has to have a historic performance to win. So
True,
um,
true.
I want to. I can see Indiana getting one game, but I'll probably go with the 5 games to a sweep as well.
Oh man, no, I definitely can see the same as these gentlemen said. Sweep or gentlemen sweep. They play very tough, meaning Boston, number two in defense out of the whole NBA, up and down the field. I mean, up and down the court. Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum. They're very great two-way players, and they play very stifling defense. I believe they might need Porzingis back for this, at least for some height and getting ready to go into the finals, at least maybe towards the back end of these games, to at least come back to get a flow. I would say they definitely can win this series without him. I just said for the actual championship round, because I don't really see this round as being anything. Boston has the cakewalk all the way to the finals this year. And if anything, it's on them to actually close the deal and win it. It's theirs to lose, especially with what happened tonight with Minnesota and Denver. Without the champions, I don't see anybody beating the Celtics in a 7 game series. So let's see what they do. Um, Western Conference side, man, we got the Mavs versus the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves haven't been to the Western Conference Finals since KG. This is this is crazy. So how y'all see this conference going? You got Luca, Kyrie, you got Cat and Ant Man. Broderick, what's up?
I've been a Timberwolves fan since the core of Levine, Wiggins, and Towns. Of course, it hasn't been that much success. Was very excited when they ended up getting KG back, and since then, I think Cat he's settled into a greater role for himself, which is that number 2 role with Ant being a number 1 offensive option. Because I believe Cat it can be an elite number 2, like a good number 1, but an elite number 2. And his defense has really stepped up in this playoffs and this season in general. As we know, the Wolves were the number 1 defense all season long. I think that showed up in this series. And I don't think it's going to be forgotten on people that they before this game 7 win, game 6, the Wolves won by 45 points, completely destroying the Nuggets. So that's why I had confidence when it was halftime of this game that they can tighten up and come back because they just beat them by 45. When you playing against somebody and they dominate you as a former athlete, that's not something that you forget. Like you kind of had that inherent fear that that could happen again. And I thought that happened in the third quarter for the Nuggets. I felt like they were tightening up on their shots. They were missing short. It just seemed like they was praying for the ball to go into the basket in order to like get their momentum back because they know it was slipping away. Um, and ultimately, that was the difference in the game. T-Wolves went on a big run. But speaking on the next series, T-Wolves at Mavs, man, it's hard to tell. I got Luke as the best player in this series. I thought he was the MVP of the league. But after that, I think, Kyrie's up there as well. But I have, at this point, Ann ahead of Kyrie and Kyrie right there with Cat. And then I think the T-Wolves have better depth personally, especially with Nas Reed coming off the bench. And I think it's going to be about the bigs. And ultimately, I think the T-Wolves had a better bigs, the more talented bigs, and the more versatile big men. So I think the T-Wolves could pull this out in 6 or 7 games, but it's going to be tough. And it's going to be hard to top the last series of the playoffs as far as the Nuggets versus T-Wolves. But this could be the second best series of the entire playoffs, in my opinion.
Okay, second best series, not bad. Khalil, how about yourself, man?
Oh, well, so Timberwolves Nuggets probably the best series of playoffs so far. For the Timberwolves to take 3 away games, and win those games, that says something big about them. Especially going to Denver and do it. I know them Denver streets are probably quiet over there, Byron.
Yeah, man.
But hold on, I'll be back. Y'all can go ahead.
Yeah, man, the Mavs series, Mavs versus Denver, Timberwolves. First time since KG, man, it's gonna be a very, very tough series. You got Luka as one of the best players in the NBA. Like Brodrick said, he thought he was the MVP. I'm definitely saying maybe 1-2, especially with him and Jokic. Uh, Kyrie as his great number 2, and him learning how to defer, especially in these last couple games that we've watched in the previous series that the Mavs had. If they can carry that over, it'll make it even tougher for the Timberwolves to guard because Kyrie is very explosive. He's box office. He's one of the most gifted dribblers, handles in this game.
Should have been top 75.
Definitely should have been a top 75 player, which is wicked, man. He has the shot heard around the world for a championship, which is ridiculous. So, but I digress on that. It's gonna be a great series, like these boys said. I would say definitely can compete because we don't know how it is gonna be. So it can definitely compete with that number 1, number 2 series of this playoffs because there have been a lot of hiccups. Like they said, it's been historic games for the other teams to even win. Pushing this series now, man, it's going to be the better of the the conference finals series for sure, because Boston is going to sweep on the other side or gentlemen's. But definitely going to be watching this one more heavily, and can't wait to see what is going down with these young pups and the Timberwolves.
I also think that because Kyrie, he's obviously learned to defer from LeBron and playing that number 2 role. But honestly, Kyrie hasn't played that well in these playoffs. He's actually struggled a little bit. Last round, I believe, I can't really say for sure. He was by Case and Wallace, and Lou Dort had Luka. So probably by SGA, Kyrie was getting guarded by, not probably, he was getting guarded by SGA in those types of situations. Man, Ant is another level of defender. He plays both ways, and he already said in the post-game press conference, he said, they asked him how he
Kyrie,
feels
his
about the next matchup.
matchup.
He said,
Yeah.
Kyrie, my matchup. So he's bigger than Kyrie, stronger, faster, more athletic. Kyrie obviously has the skill advantage, but it's hard. I can't really think of who's going to guard Ant on the other end.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be super tough. You're going to have to double.
Yeah.
That's
it has
going to be
to be
your only
Luka.
thing.
It has to be either Luka or what's bro name who they just got traded over there?
Derrick Jones. Well,
No, not
it'd probably
Derrick
be Derrick
Jones.
Jones.
Nah, not Derrick Jones. The other one.
For the Mavs?
Yeah, he just came from Charlotte.
Not PJ Washington.
Yeah, he's gonna be he's gonna have to be the one. He has the body size at least. I don't know if he's gonna be able to guard him. I don't know if he's gonna be able to guard him, but definitely not Derrick Jones. He's way too small. Like he's tall and lanky, but he's way too small. Like he's gonna get bullied.
I don't see nobody. He's a pretty good defender, though. I don't know if they're gonna have anybody else that could do. I mean, Luka guarding Ant is going to be crazy.
That's the only one.
Man, that's barbecue chicken. With all due
respect. All night. No, I'm not saying it's gonna be a good thing at all.
Or Josh Green. Josh Green. But I'm not sure if he starts.
He comes off the bench.
He comes off the bench.
Hey.
But hey, it's gonna definitely be a crazy series. Look out for that, y'all. We're gonna move on to the next subject. I mean, let Khalil hop on real quick.
Yeah.
Fatherly duties called. Might have to leave again for a couple more minutes. But while I'm here, Mavs, like I said, it's hard to say the Mavs. Kind of hard to pick because the Mavs can light it up offensively any given night. Especially with the additions that PJ Washington and Derrick Jones have been given the Mavs. But I just think the Timberwolves defense is too elite. They've showed it. So I got the Timberwolves winning this in about 6 games. And that's a big part coming from previous series, just the tenacity and just able to overcome everything and win those away games. I feel like that's going to play a big factor. And then a big win like this, I feel like it's going to carry over into the series. Because Denver Nuggets are probably the best team in the league between them and the Celtics, maybe 1A, 1B. And for them to do that, I do think that they have a chance to beat the Celtics in the NBA Finals. Like I said, their offense feeds off of their defense. Not much more to say. I got the Timberwolves in 6.
And the first 2 games in the Minneapolis too, in Minnesota. So that's big right there. But
big time.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the panel, man, we got Timberwolves a sweep for all 3 of us, man. Well, not a sweep for the whole series, but Timberwolves sweep for all of us, man. Khalil, me, and Brodrick. Moving on, we got first-time starters in the quarterback position in the college football level. Who you guys got as y'all at least number 1? It's not a ranking or anything. We just chose these players, and we're gonna see as projections to be really great starting quarterbacks in their first time ever behind that center. Who you got, Khalil?
First one I'm gonna go with Jackson Arnold, quarterback for Oklahoma coming up. He has huge potential. Probably the potential to be better than Dylan Gabriel was for them as he departed to Oregon. Listen, he has a great arm and the physical tools to where I think he could be one of the top college quarterbacks in the nation. So that's my number 1.
Okay. Who you got, Brodrick?
I had Avery Johnson quarterback for Kansas State. I wrote down my reasons here. My reasons for optimism about him. He checked in this spring at 22.3 miles per hour on the speed testing. I personally believe he caused Will Howard to transfer to Ohio State. Will Howard, to me, even though he led them to, I believe, a Big 12 championship, K-State, the thing about it is I believe he's more of a game manager, and that's going to be highly effective at Ohio State because they got all the weapons. He just doesn't have to turn over the ball, and he'll be fine. But I do think he saw Avery Johnson in that quarterback room. He saw him in practice every day, and he was like, yeah, man, I might end up being a second string after leading this program for the past 2 years. So I think he influenced him to say, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and hop in that portal. Because if he really felt confident that he was not going to be pushed for his starting job, he would have probably went to the NFL draft, which I think he going to Ohio State, the elevators draft stock in general. And in a bowl game, Avery Johnson went 14-31 passing for 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 7 carries for 71 yards and 1 touchdown in the bowl game. And I also want to bring up a little bit of high school stats for Avery Johnson. He was the number 85 overall player, number 9 quarterback, and number 1 player in the state of Kansas. Just some stats on him. Went 153 of 288 on passes, passed for 2,768 yards with 29 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions, and rushed for 98 times for 817 yards and 15 additional scores. Was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Kansas. Dual threat in every sense of the word. Maybe even at this point more elite running the ball. And especially with Dalen Edwards, the running back transfer from Colorado, who I believe he wasn't better than Shedeur or Travis, but he was one of the best players on their offense at Colorado last year. With him going back there, they're going to have the read option game going, the ground game going. They're going to do a lot of what Kansas State wants to do anyways. And I see him as a dark horse Heisman and also K-State as a potential top 3 finish in the Big 12 this coming year, which we're going to do the rankings later on by conference as we get closer to the college football season.
Okay. Well, I like that pick, man, out of Kansas. Kansas State, my fault. My guy at LSU, I got Garrett Nussmeier, a nice size quarterback, sophomore. Gonna be his first time back there in the starting role. He's 6'2", 205. He just wonderful slinging the ball, man. In his bowl game appearance that he got, man, he got 395 yards, 31 completions, 3 tutties, and he's just an outstanding talent. Definitely coming in after Jaden McDaniels went to the league. I feel like he's going to be able to slide in that role, and that offense is just tailor-made for him as well. With the new weapons that he got, nice receiver that's going to be big out of Liberty that just transferred out of the portal. And then the receiver that they already had, just in the backup as they lost some of their weapons that went to the league. Garrett is just going to be slinging that ball all over the field and going to have a nice grading. He very well take care of the ball. He doesn't really throw that many interceptions. He's just going to be elite in that offense, especially following the wonderful performance behind Jaden Daniels. Who's your number 2 guy for outstanding quarterback, first starter, B?
Oh, I got Aiden Childs, quarterback transfer into Michigan State. Obviously, Jonathan Smith was the head coach at Oregon State. Had a great year with DJU, aka the future Heisman winner for Florida State. No, I'm just playing. But hey, if we do, hey, we need you, DJ. But Aiden Childs sat behind DJ. He came in relief in some games, and we got to see his potential. It was a reason he was ranked in the top 10 of the transfer players in general, regardless of position this year, even after a freshman year where he didn't get to play that much. The coaches saw his potential, had great athletic ceiling as well. Jonathan Smith ended up, hired at Michigan State for the new head coach. Aiden got in that portal, immediately went to Michigan State with him. So he's a presumptive starter. Obviously, going to a different conference, different play styles. He's generally going to be playing against more physically imposing players, quicker players. So his development is going to have to take a step. But I think with Jonathan Smith as the head coach, you have that continuity as far as staff and recognition, already knowing the offense. And I think he's going to be set up for a lot of success because Mel Tucker did recruit well to Michigan State. He just wasn't a great game day coach. Reminds me a lot of Mario Cristobal. But Mel Tucker did recruit well, so he has talent coming in at Michigan State. And so I expect them to have a decent year. But again, we're going to talk about them in our rankings previews later on. But for my number 2 quarterback, I had Aiden Childs from Michigan State.
Aiden Childs, Michigan State. Who you got, Khalil?
My number 2, I had Nico, a quarterback for Tennessee. I think he's like 6'5", a 6'5" frame. Yep, not going to try to pronounce his last name. Don't want to butcher it. But he has a good feel for the pocket. He's good on timing the throws, kind of timing where they need to be and leading the receivers. And just his touch on lob passes down the field, kind of making it look easy and all that stuff. Going back to it, I believe he played in their bowl game against, was it Iowa State? They trounced Iowa. He played pretty decent. I believe their defense took over that game, so we didn't really have to see much from him. But I think he proved himself to where he can come in and be that starter that Tennessee needs. After playing behind Joe Milton, I'm sure he's learned a few things. As you know, it's a adjustment going from the high school level of play to the college level of play. So he'll be my number 2. And he was a former 5-star recruit. I think he was like number 2 ranked in the nation at one point or before going into college.
Yeah. Number 2, coming out of Long Beach. Yeah, me and Khalil had the same guys at our number 2. Yeah, man, 6'6", 206, big size guy, can see over the offensive line and just sit in the pocket and sling the ball. Like Khalil said, he has a great touch on the ball, great timing. He's also a good runner in certain situations, which is really, really great. And you need that in your repertoire. Not necessarily have to be a dual threat. You can also look to run to throw the ball and just create things when sometimes the play break down. And I feel like he's going to have that in his repertoire his first year starting at Tennessee. Tennessee has a great history with picking pretty decent quarterbacks. Some they really hit on, and others they really don't. But in the previous years, they I feel like they made a really great decision with getting this guy to come into their school, and hopefully they can keep everything coping steady, and he doesn't have to join a different organization at any point in time, and just keep the stats going. Number 3 guy, quarterback. For college quarterbacks, who you got, Khalil?
Final one, Will Howard, going to Ohio State.
Howard.
He'll be taking over for Kyle McCord. In my opinion, he's much more mobile and bigger than McCord is. So he'll bring that physicality to that QB position on offense that wasn't there before. I know the seasons he's had at Kansas State, he's gotten better. They have been iffy, but I feel like the talent level that he's going to be playing with at Ohio State opposed to Kansas State will help elevate his game, as he's shown good arm strength. Needs to work on being more accurate. And I think, like I said, talent level wise, the receivers can play a big part in helping him take his game to the next level.
Okay. Who you got, B? Third quarterback.
Honestly, I was gonna go with Jackson Arnold for Oklahoma, but just to be contrarian a little bit, I'll go with MJ Morris. He played in a couple NC State games at the end of the year when I'm forgetting his name. Oh, when they benched Brandon Armstrong, looked good, including, beating the Miami Hurricanes. um, but end up redshirting, and the fan base thought immediately, okay, what is he thinking about transferring? And his dad came out and said he wasn't going to transfer. He was just trying to maintain that redshirt year. You know what happens when, stuff says it's going one way and it goes another, end up transferring to Maryland. I think he's going to take over for, I'm not going to disrespect him and call him Tua little brother, but I don't know how to pronounce his name. Tungaloa. Yeah,
Something like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
And he was explosive in that offense. So I think MJ has the same type of potential. They actually, as far as comps go, they remind me a lot of each other. And I expect MJ Morris to come in and bring a lot to that Mike Locksley offense. And I expect them to have a decent year this year as well. But I expect MJ Morris to step into that role and produce his best season yet.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'll go ahead and go with mine. Wait for Khalil to come back. For my third guy, I got Lenore Sellers, nice size freshman coming in to South Carolina. 6'3", 240, big arm, really big arm. Gonna need to work on a lot of his accuracy, timing, his touch. But when you go to that next level, we base a lot of things on projections and potential and your skill. And they feel like they can bring him in and work on those things so he can really become a great dual threat quarterback because he is pretty fast. And like I said, he's a big guy at 245, run guys over. I'm pretty sure not many people want to go up against this quarterback as they're trying to take him down. It's very, very difficult. And like I said, big arm. He's going to be a really nice quarterback. I believe what's the South Carolina's in the ACC, correct?
SEC.
SEC now? Oh, man, tough. But, yeah.
They schedule
Just
brutal too. But yeah.
show your talent. Show your talent, man. College isn't for always national championships. Let's just try to get to the league, get better every day. And it's a great day. You walk on that field, and I feel like I said, with his talent and the arm size, that arm talent that he already has, he can develop into a wonderful quarterback. In Lenore Sellers, again, quarterback out of South Carolina.
I like him just because, well, he's talented, but he represents with the goggles. My man's out there with the thick
Hey,
goggles underneath the face mask. What?
bro,
So,
say I need to
hey,
see.
shout out. Yeah, for,
Bro, say I need to see where y'all at throwing dot.
for real. He and Jameis Winston out there squidding. So, shout out Lenore Sellers for
Facts,
sure.
facts. Who you got, Khalil, third quarterback?
I gave him my third.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, you did, you
Will
did, you
Howard.
did.
Yeah, it was Will Howard.
Okay, all right, man. Those are some young talents that's gonna be college first time starters at the ACC. I mean, at the in I can't even say it. NCAA level. There you go. We're gonna move on to the next topic here, man. We got the NFL guys. We just got a draft 2024. Wonderful talent coming in. Who y'all gonna project to be offensive rookie of the year? Who you got, Khalil?
Uh, just to kind of go away from probably what the viewers are thinking watching this, I went with Jaden Daniels, quarterback
Okay.
for the Commanders.
Okay.
Dual threat quarterback. I feel like his play style is going to fit in good with today's game. I mean, if Daniel Jones can run the option, why can't Jaden Daniels? And then he has
Sure.
Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson as his lead receivers, which I feel like is a above average receiving core. And then you got Austin Eckler who just came in with them. We don't know which Austin Eckler we're going to see, but if he can go back to that fantasy monster that he was a couple years back, that'll play a big part in it. And then they also have Zach Ertz, who can play a big safety blankets, nice, reliable hands, been around the game long enough to know how to get open. Yes, to know how to get open. And then he can just extend the plays with his legs, agile, athletic. And I feel like with his work ethic and tools, he can become one of the guys in the league.
I like that. Who you got, Khalil? I'm sorry, Brodrick.
I probably went
Offensive
with
player.
what happened?
No, I was just saying offensive player of the year.
Oh, I went with Caleb
Off
Williams.
rookie. Caleb
Um,
Williams. Okay.
I went with Caleb Williams last year at USC, 3,633 yards, 30 TDs, only 5 picks, on 69% completion percentage. My prediction for him, his stats this year, I'm gonna go with 4,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks on 65% completion. Um, and I think again that's going to prepare the Bears, to at least the wild card round. I expect them to have a decent year this year, because of the receiving corps you have. I think he has one of the best receiving corps in the NFL with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, who they just selected number 9 overall in the draft, Cole Kmet. That offensive line, it could use some help, but it's definitely improved. I think Darnell Wright has a chance to take a step forward in his second year in the pros. And I forgot the name of their other tackle over there, but he was a guy they found in the 4th or 5th round that already is playing at a Pro Bowl level. And they solidified the interior there, which I feel like they're going to do over the next coming years. The Bears are going to be dangerous. Obviously, that defense is going to have to take massive strides forward, but if they end up being in shootouts, I like Caleb in those wheel and deal and shootout games. We saw him have success at USC and Oklahoma doing that. So I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. We got Jaden Daniels from Khalil. We got Caleb Williams from Broderick. All right. So I guess we're gonna have a theme of quarterbacks. For myself, I got JJ McCarthy winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. He has pretty great talent around him starting out. I mean, you got a nice pickup in Aaron Jones, who proved to be a wonderful running back in the Green Bay offense, bringing that over to a subpar offensive line, I would say. And the Vikings kind of kept Cousins up decently, even though he had the Achilles tear towards the end of the season there. But if they can keep this young man up, I mean, you got one of the best receivers in the league in Justin Jefferson. You got Jordan Addison, and then you got Brandon Powell, wonderful receiving core. I'll say at least top 5 in the league. Get the ball to those guys, and I promise you, your stats will look beautiful over this year, and you have a wonderful running to becoming the offensive rookie of the year. Just put the ball behind those guys, man, and just make a leap and try to make the playoffs, and you can compete with guys like Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels for offensive rookie of the year.
What do you think his stats are gonna look like this year for him to, like, if you you believe he's gonna win the award, what do you think his stats will have to be for him to win the award, JJ McCarthy?
Because I think, okay,
Just from like touchdowns and yards perspective.
if he can get about somewhere near 4,000 yards, somewhere near 4,000 yards, I can't put a quite number on his yard. Touchdowns, he's going to need to at least have 28 to 30 touchdowns.
Woo.
28 to 30 touchdowns. Because Caleb, I know Caleb's going to have about at least guaranteed 30 touchdowns for sure. So if he can compete in that 28 to 30 range and make it look really good with Justin Jefferson, he can push. Because he has an electric receiver in Justin Jefferson, which some of those plays going to be a lot of big yards. I mean, you got Roma Odunze and then you got Moore and all those guys there, yes, for sure. But I mean, I feel like JJ is just a different level. He's a different beast, and he gonna make those good plays. And I mean, he has a decent arm. JJ has a great arm. I mean, you seen what he did in Michigan. If he can get around, like I said, somewhere 4,000 something yards, 28 to 30 something touchdowns, I feel like he has at least a say in it.
All right. So basically, he's gonna have to be like a top 10 quarterback, basically.
I mean, you got a decent offense. They got a really decent
he
offense.
has a good offense for sure.
And I'll say out of all the quarterbacks besides Caleb, obviously, because obviously it's not normal where the number 1 draft pick goes to a team that's loaded like this. Like, that's unprecedented. Like, normally the number 1 draft pick is for the team that sucks. And yeah, they kind of suck, but they had all things set up to where this year, all right, I got 2 number 1 receivers, a great running back. I can work on my offensive line a little bit, but I have all the weapons around him. Like you said, the defense needs to step up a little bit more because towards the end of the year, the Bears were pretty much leading in defensive stats towards the end of the season. So if they can carry that into next season and keep pushing, yeah, their defense is going to be great. But I feel like JJ is going to have a pretty decent team as well. And if they can make a push and make the playoffs, and he has great stats, I mean, you can't fight it.
I'm just going off of because I think he's gonna have a good year too. My bad if I cut you off, Khalil, if you were about to say
No, you
something.
good.
Oh. It's just that I know he's gonna be going against like that Packers defense, that Lions defense, at least 4 times in a year. So I'm not saying he can't do it. I just want to see what he does because he's gonna have to be. They're gonna, from what I've seen in college, they're gonna make him into a passer. Like they're not gonna sit back and at Michigan he could hand the ball off and just focus on being a game manager, being efficient and stuff like that. And I kind of get antsy when I see like a coach go to the league from the college rank and their quarterback is right there to be selected and they don't take the chance on him. Like that kind of because it's like obviously the Chargers
I
have
mean, you
Justin
got
Herbert,
yeah.
but at the same time, like if you really believe in JJ McCarthy, you can get a shit ton of picks for Herbert. You can get a smack ton of picks for Herbert, build out the
Dang,
rest of that team, and then draft McCarthy at 5. But
dang. That's how you feel though about Justin Herbert.
no, I think Justin Herbert is great. I think he's a talent-wise, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Okay,
But
so situational, real quick. You're Michigan's quarterback. You just won. You're Michigan's head coach. You just won the national championship with this quarterback. Blase, blase. You move on. You got the number 5 pick?
mm-hmm.
5 pick, I believe it was.
Yeah.
You taking JJ? You taking JJ?
And trading Justin?
Yeah.
No. I'm
I
saying
just
no.
want to know that real quick.
I'm
I
saying
feel
no
you.
because that's what I was saying. It kind of like it kind of reflects bad that didn't happen.
I feel
Because
that. I feel that.
as a you got that rookie contract as a quarterback. So I'm getting some great
5
picks
years.
from somebody, maybe even the Denver Broncos more than likely. I'm getting some great picks from somebody, and I'm getting this rookie quarterback contract to build with. We already know Justin is going to probably, when he gets his extension, it's probably going to be the biggest in NFL history. So,
Money.
or I think it is already top 5 in NFL history. So that's, the Chargers ended up having to release a lot of guys this year because of the huge contracts that they already had. They was in salary cap hell. That's why Keenan Allen is on the Bears, Austin Eckler is on the Redskins, Mike Williams is on the Jets. Like they had a couple players they had to let go. They had to restructure
The whole
Bosa
offense.
and Khalil Mack. So, we're gonna see how it goes though. But yeah.
I feel that. All right, man. We're gonna move on to the defensive side. Defensive rookie of the year. Who you got, Brodrick, man?
I've been chatted up, so I'll make it quick. I had Jared Verse, my Florida
Jared
State
Verse.
guy, man. Jared Verse last year at Florida State had 41 tackles, 9 sacks, 12.5 tackles for loss, and 3 pass breakups. For his prediction this year, what I think he could have, I think he's going to have around 55 tackles, 9 sacks again, around 10 tackles for loss, and forced 2 fumbles. Just with his explosiveness and athleticism, him and Braden Fisk, I think they're going to be a great tandem off that Rams interior and edge. And I don't think this was a great defensive draft, but I think that the NFL was lower on Jared Verse than I expected. I definitely expected him to go in their top 10, and I think he's going to show that he has that top 10 level ability in this draft. I think the knocks on him were his bend around the edge. He was a little tight in the hips. He wasn't super bendy. It was noticeable between him and Patrick Payton. I digress on that, but I think his motor, his bull rush, his technique that he's going to learn there. They obviously have a great defensive line coach, even though I think their D-line coach just went to USC Trojans. It's the NFL. You're going to pick up a great coach there. So I expect it to be Jared Verse.
Jared Verse at the Falcons, man. Who you got, Khalil?
I got Latu, defensive end, got picked up by the Colts. Feel like he's going into a good situation there. You know, they already have a good established D line. And we know it's hard for a DB to win Rookie of the Year. So I think, and with, like Brock said, the talent level defensive wise in the draft this year, I think it's kind of a given that it's going to go to somebody on the D line. But he not going to be the main focal point on defense, so he's not going to be seeing doubles or anything like I predict Dallas Turner to be seeing with the Vikings D-line, which I don't think has any big names after Danielle Hunter went and signed with the Texans. Great speed, very explosive. And that has showed to allow him to get into the backfield fast and quite frequently in college. Like I said, the defensive line for the Colts ranked 5th in sacks in the league. And he'll be able to come in and make that immediate impact. Because, like I said, he's not going to be the only D lineman on the D line that opposing teams have to worry about, which I think is going to open up a lot of one-on-one opportunities for him, which I feel like he's going to excel in.
Okay. Now, those are some great picks, young guys coming into the league. My pick, man, I got that dog, man. Y'all can go back and watch the other videos about the stats, man. I already read them off. But I like Terrion Arnold coming out of Alabama. Wonderful, wonderful cornerback. I feel like if he has at least somewhere around 2 to 3 picks, a lot of pass deflections, and just, be the dog that he is in that Lions offense, who is going to be featured a lot this year, especially being the up-and-coming stars of the league, and the Lions turning around. And, nobody really thought the Lions were anything, but now these last 2-3 years, been studying, been pushing, been grinding, been getting all the guys in right positions. And I mean, look, they were in a wonderful position in the playoffs last year. A couple games, and they could have been in the NFC championship game. And yeah, so it's crazy. I mean, with this defensive young guy who's like I said, he's a dog. He has that motor behind him. He has a wonderful defensive line in Hatcher down there. And now you put him in that second level, and you just have that fight. And I feel like he's gonna be an outstanding player this year and win that defensive rookie of the year.
Can I give a dark horse real quick? Just real quick.
Go ahead.
Nate Wiggins for the
Oh
Baltimore
yeah,
Ravens.
both of those boys.
Obviously, they know how to draft, but I think that he's gonna be the piece that other teams target. You got Marlon Humphrey, one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton, and everybody else on that defense. Patrick Queen. Was it Patrick Queen is still on that defense?
Patrick Queen gone.
It was what was his
Patrick
name?
Queen gone.
Roquan Smith. Sorry, Roquan Smith.
They got Roquan Smith, yeah.
And obviously a dominant defensive line. There's a couple names on there that are tough to announce, boy, but they play good football. I think you want to target the rookie as an opposing quarterback, but it's going to give him a chance to get interceptions, get pass deflections. Didn't have much ball production at Clemson, but that's because he was being avoided. I think he's going to be targeted because even though he's excellent, he went in the first round at cornerback, he's the seeming weak link of that defense. So he's going to have a chance to make a lot of stats that get you noticed when it comes to award season, especially at corner when you have things like interceptions and things of that nature, especially with his physical profile, big and fast, running a 4 point, I believe 4.2 something. And
Yeah.
had the hamstring injury. If he can stay healthy, he's slender. But if he can stay healthy, I think he has a good chance to get in there as well as a dark horse.
Well, now, most definitely, I like that pick, man. Yeah, he put a little size on him. He's
Yeah.
gonna be a problem in this league, especially playing for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Physical and just get into you. It's gonna be tough. All right, man. I like that one, man. Some good offensive and defensive rookies coming into this league. Very top heavy draft. But we're gonna see what these guys bring this year. On to the NBA Combine, man. It's very, very tough to say in Bronny James, who's chosen to keep his name in the NBA draft compared to going back to the NBA college level. A lot of people are saying, including myself, that I would think that it would be beneficial to him to go back to college and play and learn the game a little bit more and try to translate to that next season and show your actual dominance and go to a team where you can actually show that compared to USC comes off of that surgery that you had and not being able to play your best year. What do you guys think of his combine performance in the couple games that they scrimmaged? And what do you guys see in his game? Khalil.
Um, First off, I don't like you said. I don't think this is going to be beneficial for him at all. Just that he's staying in the draft. Kind of feel like it's kind of the pressure of his dad wanting to play with him as he's going to be on his way out the league soon. Kind of stuff like that. And then him just not getting that full season, that full college season experience, like going to play a big part. I was reading up on the draft. He was really getting picked on a lot on the defensive end, as he didn't have the size or anything to guard any of like the bigger guards and stuff like that. Um, I know his second scrimmage he played decent. I think he had like 13 points, a couple assists, and everything. But I just don't feel like he's established and grown enough from high school through college to now the league to come into the league and be able to adapt like most college players adapt. So I feel like he's going to struggle at times. I feel like a big part of him staying in the draft is him knowing that even if he doesn't go drafted, there's still that probably 95% chance that the Lakers sign him as an undrafted rookie just because, LeBron's there. But yeah, that's my take on it so far.
What you got, B?
As far as the combine, it was really three things with Bronny when it comes around the combine. He did have a decent second game, but overall he shot 6 of 18 in both games. He shot 6 of 18, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, I think 4 turnovers. Not a great showing at all, to be honest. Which was not surprising. We seen an ability or the non-ability for him to get past other athletes at the college level off the dribble. So now when you elevate that to the NBA level, that wasn't surprising. I don't think he raised his draft stock at all. I think it was just more of maybe they were more impressed with his shooting ability, but nobody's guarding you when you're out there shooting it. And at the same time, I think more questions arose as well because I think it validated something that they've been scouting all year as far as he's not an ISO one-on-one player. He's 6'1", but he isn't a great distributor of the basketball. He's a good defender. And honestly, I could see him having a Davion Mitchell, like prime Davion Mitchell type situation. Um, but other than that, I don't think it was a great decision for him to come out. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's the money. I don't know what it is. And third and finally, it's a weak NBA draft, is what the scouts are saying. And he's still projected as a late second, maybe undrafted type of player. Maybe can get into the first round because of the chance to get LeBron. To be quite frank, the chance to get LeBron, a team is probably going to take him in the first round. I don't see him slipping to the second round, but it's tough, man. I don't think LeBron wants to leave LA. I don't think he's gonna leave LA, but the chance to play with your son, man, as a father, I could understand playing on the Charlotte Hornets or the Detroit Pistons for 1 year, if it's about playing with my son. So I've already accomplished everything that I can ever accomplish in the NBA. So playing with my son, man, I get why you could see LeBron in one of those cities with those freaky people. So yeah,
I mean, with LeBron not being one to turn down money, especially after taking less to go down to Miami, ever since then it's been run me that bag.
yeah,
But I mean, he has a what 50 something plus million option on the table from the Lakers. Go back and grab that money. I mean, with him already being a billionaire, I really don't see. I mean, hey, if his son does get drafted, I really could see him just saying, "Hey, forget the money that you're offering me now. I'm already a billionaire. I can go play with my son for a year, then retire." Cool. I mean, if you want to still somehow, some way, still try to win a championship, hopefully, Clutch Sports can pull off a Houdini act and get him to a competitor, meaning LeBron James, Bronny, to a competitor somehow, some way in the draft, and getting LeBron in that kind of way because LeBron will be a free agent. He'll be able to go to any team he like, and maybe it can be a competitor. You get to play with your son and still kind of compete for a championship and get a twofer. Hey, and that's in a perfect world, but I don't see that really happening. I really think Bronny should go back to college, develop your game, and become an actual solid NBA player. I don't see him any kind of form or fashion being a superstar in the league, but I can definitely see him being a wonderful, wonderful role player in the league because LeBron James is your father. I'm pretty sure you have a wonderful IQ of the game. It just has to build in the speed of it. And you saw it in high school, he was pretty decent. College, I feel like you need to go show that a little bit more and learn the game of basketball and push it to your talent. Because I feel like in the individual skills, in the shuttles, the jumping, the shooting, obviously nobody's out there guarding you. You're doing all the right things. Now, if you can translate that into the actual game of basketball and the flow of it, I feel like you can be a wonderful role player. But go back to college, get your game up, dominate some of these guys that aren't really on your level in the basketball game, and get your confidence up, and then next year we'll see you as a number one. I say not number one, and the first round at least, somewhat draft pick.
I want to say real quick too. Um, I just thought about what if this is a strategic play by Clutch to get him in early to where if he doesn't go undrafted, like y'all had just said, he can get signed by the Lakers, or any other team that has plans to try to persuade, LeBron to maybe come like say the Knicks or something like that. Um, it can be
That'd be nice.
strategic because when you're an undrafted free agent, you have the choice to pick where you go versus the draft. They pick where you go. So if he were to come back and have a better year next year, he might not have the choice to pick where he goes because there's been reports that Bron wants to play 2 to 3 more years. To me, that's even more sign that he's going to stay with the Lakers because they can offer him the max 3-year contract for around 163 million. As we know,
Yeah,
LeBron
that bad.
filthy rich, but I mean 163 million. I
Run me
mean,
that bad.
yeah. So Ronnie, man, on some real stuff, man. I'm glad you got cleared medically. You had a serious
Bad.
situation, as you know, and I'm glad you're back on the court, brother. I think that affected a lot at USC because I couldn't imagine going out there to play and maybe having second thoughts of that situation occurring, man. But I'm glad you get an opportunity to show your skills on the next level, and I hope you get drafted to a situation where they allow you to develop because he needs a lot of development. Like he's 6'1", he got a wide base, he's strong, athletic, had a 40.5-inch vertical. Obviously, LeBron, your father, you athletic, but you're not as tall as what you thought. Like most people had you listed at 6'4". You measured in at 6'1". So, and you know the NBA like that. It's a lot of guys that are like that in the NBA, but
Sure.
you're not gonna be. You're not in a
Reese or
bigger
break
point guard. Like your
6'5".
point guard size. Yeah. Your point
Your
guard
little brother
size.
taller.
Hey man,
It's crazy.
I know how it is, Bronny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah. You got to deal with it. You say your brother's 6'3".
Yeah, crazy. We ain't
That's
got to say
crazy.
my height, but I ain't 6 foot or near it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I think
Sad.
Bronny, I don't know, but we'll have to see how it goes. I think it's a power play by Clutch. They probably at the combine, I can imagine, because LeBron's at the combine. And I know Rich Paul was probably there because that's his agent saying, don't draft him. Don't draft him. We want to have more control over what we want to do. And we'll keep tabs on what you can offer from the development side and where we see it going. Because, of course, I think LeBron want to play with his son, but it also is about the long-term development of Bronny as well. Like, who going to actually give him an opportunity to develop? Because I don't see him in the NBA next year, whether he gets drafted or not. I think Bronny's going to spend a lot of time in the G League next year,
Sad.
developing, and that's probably where he should be. I'm not, he didn't excel at the college level, but I do think his IQ and athleticism is above the college level, and that's why he chose to stay in the draft. One of the reasons, but I think the G League will give him a chance to develop into a quality role player because, again, that's what I see him as well, like a very quality role player, maybe at the high end of KCP type player.
I like that. I like that. All right, man. Anything else y'all want to harp on, man? Hey, man, y'all like, subscribe, watch these videos, man. Comment, get in there, man. Let's interact. Y'all love it. What's up, brother? What you got on your mind?
Oh, real quick. I know I've been a little bit of chatterbox.
I
Y'all
like
drop
it.
y'all game of tags, man, for the NCAA football game.
Oh,
We're gonna have a lot
yeah.
of stuff surrounding that coming up. Gonna have some content about that coming up, the NCAA football games, man.
We
Tell
gotta
us who
start a
y'all excited
franchise.
to play with. Exactly. Who y'all team is. Because Dynasty, they have an online Dynasty.
Online
Um,
Dynasty.
let's
About
get
to
it in. Go ahead.
about to run through y'all with Western Michigan.
Hey, USC, man. Stop playing with me, man. Trojans all day.
Hey man, who is y'all team y'all like to use on Dynasty, right? Because I like to use sorry teams and build them up. Like, I'm a Wyoming,
Hawaii.
Idaho, Tulane fanatic.
I used to love using Boise. Boise
Was
back
he?
in the day. Boise
Yeah,
State. Because they kind of good, but like not too trash. So they like in the
yeah.
middle, in the middle.
I think I'm gonna use SMU for my first Dynasty team.
No,
They
I'm
like
still
in
using
a nice
USC.
recruiting
I'm trying
area.
to run it up.
Oh, you trying to win?
I'm trying to win, boy.
Ain't
College,
USC in the Big Ten this year, boy? Hey,
yeah, yeah,
hey, Big Ten,
yeah.
SEC bloodbaths, boy. Them the two big brother conferences.
Hey, I feel like it's time to step up, and we need to be in those national championship games again.
Yeah, we're gonna do some college football content on the schedules and stuff. But man, if you in the SEC or Big Ten, you playing a brutal schedule. No matter
Facts.
what, you playing like Florida last 5 games, and this will be the last thing. Florida last 5 games is against it's a mixture of Georgia, Tennessee, Florida State, I believe Ole Miss and Missouri.
Mm,
All those teams, top 25, top 15 type programs, it's going to be
yeah.
tough. But I love it as a Florida hater, not a Florida Gator. But y'all drop y'all gamer tags, like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Hey man, get at us, man. 3012 man. Great episode. Y'all show that love.